My brother, thanks for coming on the Parables, man.
Thank you for having me, man. It's an honor.
Dude, man, I gotta tell you, I'm very excited about this episode, and that, like, again, as we were talking when you were coming up here, just getting that fresh perspective from someone like you. I was trying to find the words I wanted to say. I don't know why. I just want to say brilliant, dude. Like, everything that you're accomplishing, and like, I still don't even know. I feel like I'm gonna like unfold it right now. What I do know is when I met you, which, by the way, guys, we have a lot of mutual friends in Daniel James, who was on this podcast, Brandon, who was also on this podcast. I think you know Randall Pitch as well. And I'm pretty sure you probably know some other guys on, that's been on this podcast, to be honest. But anyway, again, thank you for reaching out to me. Going to your facility, man, in Huntington Beach, I was blown away. I was like, dude, this place has to be expensive. So I know these guys are serious. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, I think it's going to be awesome to get your perspective, and I know you have a lot to share. And again, you know about this podcast. We're really just want to really know who you are and maybe share some of the things that have helped you along the way to, get where you are. And the goal is to really be of value and be of service to the people who listen. Anything they could take away from our conversation, it's all gold, man. So let's kind of start off again, maybe like kind of your upbringing, and we'll slowly transition to everything that you're doing. And we'll go from there. And by the way, too, dude, your group of friends, man, dude, I don't even like know them, but like I like them already. Like I feel like I just want to party with you guys one day.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for the invite. All right.
No,
yeah.
100%.
I just want to party with you guys. I know you guys are like hard workers, but you work hard and play hard. I'm like, man, I gotta party with those guys, man.
Fun group of guys for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was born in San Jose. Kind of grew up in the Bay Area. I lived in San Mateo majority of my life. It's about 25 minutes away from the city.
Okay.
So it was like a nice place, I think, to grow up in for sure. It was like the suburbs, so it wasn't like close to the city, too hectic. And just overall like a nice city, and a lot of nice surrounding cities. So, some of like the most money in the Bay Area is like around there. So like San Mateo Park, Hillsborough, like you have Menlo kind of close, all these like crazy places. So I think growing up there, for sure kind of made me very hungry at an early age. I went to private school my entire life. My parents, worked hard for that. That was like a big priority for them that myself and my brother went to private schools. Mm-hmm. So, I was able to meet a lot of kids just through like the social aspect of my life who had just like, crazy money. Just like even kids in my close friend groups, they had the Ferraris, they had the crazy cars, they had the multi-million-dollar houses. So, I mean, that's not where I guess like my kind of business life started, or was like, I guess, or what made me like intrigued in it. It started at a very young age, but that's something that definitely like kept me hungry.
Do you think like just being exposed to the, the neighborhoods and that city and, where you grew up, like how did it make you hungry? Just like you seeing it, it's like, wow, like a lot of stuff is attainable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah? So it was like, it's a different feeling, like when like you see it with your own eyes. Like it's different seeing it on TV and like, oh, like I want to get there. It's like, no, like there's motherfuckers that are there.
Yeah,
like 110%. And like there's a ton of them, and
Definitely.
It's like, what do they do? Like, how do I do that? Like, how am I going to get there? And it never...
I'm glad you bring that up, because again, like some people just see it on TV and they're like, what the hell? Like, that's crazy. And it's almost like a dream.
It's not even possible.
Yeah, but then like you're saying, like you see it in person, you're just like, oh man. Like,
no, it's crazy. And I mean, it never made me feel like, I guess, like bad about the situation I was in. I was in a great situation. My dad was a police officer. My mom raised myself and my brother, and then went to work when things got like a little harder in like the Bay. But I very thankful for like my upbringing for sure. But it just kind of made me think like, how am I going to get there, and how am I going to bring everybody that's taking care of me to that level?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, business I think was something that was like always a part of me, like since I could remember. Like my mom said something interesting to me about like a month ago. She was like, she had like a speaker come into work, and they were like, like your kids know what they want to be like super, super early in their age. And she goes, you always wanted to be a businessman. She goes, like, I remember like first, second grade, like all your birthdays, I used to ask for like different machines, like food machines, like cotton candy machine, popcorn machine, like all this stuff. In my dream, I like in like first, second grade was to like open up a shack at the local park and like sell things to kids. And and so
MarcAnthony, the business, the young business owner, right?
Yeah. So that's what I wanted. I mean, in the third grade, like I had like a pen trading company. I remember I sold a girl a pen for like $12. I came home with the money. My mom like freaked out on me. Like fourth grade, like there was a kid who had like a pipe cleaner like action figure company, and like I told him like I could manage it, like I could take inventory, like all these things, like little things I wanted to do, and I was just like super, like I never wanted to not be a part of any business like thing that was going on like wherever I was. So fifth grade I had like my first clothing company. I built like my first like website on, I don't even know what platform. Like sixth grade, slow year. Seventh grade I think I did a business class. Eighth grade had like something going on. Freshman year had a clothing company. My junior year had like some like little like startup thing, and then which led to like, I don't want to get too far ahead, but like kind of like the company that was kind of serious to me, which was like my clothing company, Innateware. So but
what's the company?
It's called Innateware. It was like a fitness clothing company. Okay. So that's how like I was able to network with like a lot of the people that
so you think just being like in the environment in that San Mateo area kind of just molded you into like this young kid who always wanted to be a business owner, or like was there other inspirations that you think kind of played a factor?
I mean, I think it was just something I always wanted, but I think like the fuel like that really like set in, that was like you want to get there, is like seeing kind of like all of that stuff that was like seemed like attainable, you know. Like just like, I mean, a lot of like my close friends even just had like, you know, like we're very fortunate to have like so many things, and I always thought to myself, you know, like if I was in that position, like the things I would be doing right now, you know what I mean? Like, but you know, if you grow up around it, you don't know if that is how your personality would be. But yeah, I mean, it's part of it. Yeah, for sure. San Mateo and just being around all of that.
I get the sense like also it's kind of like you guys, it's not like, of course your family was okay, you guys growing up, but it wasn't like you weren't like other kids who were like super rich, driving like brand new cars, right?
It's crazy. I mean, yeah, my family, my parents, it's about as like far as it went from my family, you know. Like they were like the first generation in the United States. So my grandparents came from El Salvador and Mexico.
Gotcha.
So, like, yeah.
And only child too, or?
No, I have my older brother.
Older brother too? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So obviously business minded at such a young age. You actually had your first business again, like at what age?
I mean, my first like, I guess kind of real business, probably like the fifth grade.
The fifth, man. Yeah. And which one was that again?
It was called Soldi Supply Co. It was a clothing company, and that one it was funny, but
yeah. So clothing was initially what it started.
Clothing. I love clothing. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome, man. And I don't know, did you like, I don't know, like going into like further into your your school years, did you get involved, I don't know, with like, I don't know, like the business committees, or I don't know, any extracurricular stuff that kind of helped you excel a little bit? Or I
did a business class in like my middle school. In high school, I think I joined the business club, but I just like was never really too involved with it. I went to a couple like speaker events and like heard them talk, which was cool.
Nice.
But like my junior year, I wanted to start like this business network where like high schoolers could get involved with like companies. So like me and one of my best friends, we like went to, like during our career day, we like went around and like took like contact information for some of the guys we thought could be like helpful. And we reached out to like a ton of guys on like LinkedIn and all of that kind of stuff. And like we got one who hit us back, and he kind of became like our mentor. So like monthly we'd go up to the city, kind of tell him our ideas for this business, and he kind of like, you know, we were dreaming big. We wanted like an app. We wanted like all this kind of crazy stuff. And he's like, well, start small, you know, like,
he's like, slow down.
Yeah, he's like, slow down. Like, you're not going to get there. He's like, start small, like start with like emailing people and like trying to build your services that way. And like, he just kind of like, you know, showed us the importance of like, of just like, you know, building things first in your community before you try to expand to the entire world.
Like start your foundation.
Yeah. And that lesson hit hard for sure. It's something I did like with like my first like LLC, which was Innateware. I started like really like in San Mateo and then grew to like San Jose and then try to get like, you know, to different states and all that kind of stuff and just take California. But yeah, that was cool. I got to meet some really cool people through like the business. I was trying to start in high school. I met some like CEOs of like some crazy companies, some VPs, all that kind of stuff. So that just like talking to those people and listening to what they had to say was like much more valuable than like any information I think I received.
Yeah, in high school.
High school, yeah.
Man, it's crazy because I mean, obviously I'm more than 10 years older than you, but it's just kind of like, man, back in the day, like with me, you know, we were just doing like, I don't know, some dumb shit. You know what I mean? And and what I'm trying to get at is that's just awesome that you were able to, you know, you were business minded, you know, you're already getting involved, you know, getting your feet wet, and then you're obviously, you know, you have a mentor at that age, you know what I'm saying? And you're meeting like these VPs and all that stuff that you're saying, like, it's kind of almost like, I don't want to say like it's not possible, but I want to say maybe it's like, it's kind of like unheard of almost, like for people that age, like, you know, mm-hmm. I think, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this too, kind of how the school system is a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of, it's kind of weird. There's like two sides to it. I almost see like there's definitely like they try to make sure that you're exposed to all these opportunities, but also at the same time, it's almost like it's straightforward. Like they want you to not go the self-employed route. Yeah. I guess, you know what I mean? Like follow 100%. this course, this path. You know what I mean?
I was doing like, I always had like some little thing going on in high school, and like I remember teachers just like, oh, like one teacher like told me straight up, he was because he was mad because I turned in an essay and I got like a C on it. And he's like, you know, if you spent like one more hour on this, man, like it would have been an A. Like I know you're smart. And I was like, I know, like I was just super busy. Like I to be honest with you, like I got that done at lunch. And he was like, no, don't tell me that, but I was like
brutally honest, right?
He goes like, he's just like, you know, like, I hope all this business stuff works out for you, man, because like you're not doing so hot in school, and like I don't see you like, you know, try. And I'm like, yeah, like I hope it works out too, you know.
Yeah.
But it was definitely kind of like a joke to like a lot of people, and like kind of like, I guess the like one of the big messages I want to get across is like, you know, trying things at a young age, like, and kind of going past that judgment that people give you. You know, every time I did a project, anytime I did anything, I mean, I had a lot of friends. I was a very social, outgoing kid, so there was just kind of like a spotlight on me. So it was like, you know, anytime I did anything, like it was blown up, you know, like, oh, he's doing this company now. Oh, he's doing this. And like a lot of them were failures, you know, it was failure after failure after failure.
Which plays a huge part in what you're doing now.
100%. But if I didn't start with that, like, clothing company in the 5th grade, then like my clothing company like in freshman year wouldn't have been as successful. Like my clothing company like wouldn't have been successful. You know, I learned how to build the first website. I learned what like clothing manufacturing was, the different types, just every little business. If I didn't do that business like network company, then I would have met those people and learned the lesson from them. And you know, it took up until like I think my junior year of high school to really just stop giving a shit what other people thought about me, and that was life-changing for sure. You know, it was like, I remember there's like the specific moment right before I created the company Innate where I was like really like, it was like I was in bed like at night and I was nervous, like I was scared, and I was like had this like anxiety over me. I'm like, oh, but if I do this, then I'm gonna have to hear all this shit at school. I'm gonna have to hear all like, and it was like from my friends, it was from like kids who weren't my friends, but like it was never like, oh, like making direct like fun of me. It was more like, let's laugh like with you, kind of laugh
almost
at
like
you.
trolling.
Yeah, like
bit, right?
trolling. And I was just like so nervous about like what people were gonna think of me, and I was like, dude, like why do you care? You know, like you got to get over that. And like kind of after that, I just stopped caring. And like I think at a young age, it takes you have to get to a certain level with whatever you're doing for people to kind of like okay you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like once my company once I did like that Los Angeles Fitness Expo with the company, and like they saw I was meeting all these cool people and it was going into different states and I had ambassadors and athletes and stuff, then like kids just shut up.
Yeah. Now they were like, oh man.
Yeah,
like,
they were like, oh, like, whoa, this
like, hey, what's up, bro?
He's actually kind of doing something real, you know? And it's like, it's sad that it's like that, because it's like, if I would have had that support like all the time, like I could have grown so much more, you know? And that fear to do so many more things like wouldn't have been there. So, you know, just like any kid listening to this, anybody at any age, like wanting to do anything in general, you know, just do it. Who cares? Like, and you know, it's even harder nowadays because there's social media and like stuff gets blasted. I remember in the 5th grade when I had my clothing company, like some kids created a fake Instagram and there was like a mock of it, but like they were my friends too, but it was just like, you know, just like laughing at me, like laughing with me, whatever. And it was stuff that like didn't like really like, I guess make me sad, but it still was just kind of in the back of your head. You know, like when that next thing was going to come.
It's like it's like almost like an infection of some kind. Like even though it's not like meant to do so much harm, but it's still there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that plays a toll on you eventually when you start to go through those periods like everyone does with doubt, hesitation, taking risk, and you start to question yourself and
exactly.
things like that.
Yeah.
But you know what? What I really love though is I had a period like that myself, and obviously it wasn't at that age. But I really like within the past, like, I don't know, 4 to 5 years, maybe even less than that, is when I had the same moment like you, where I just straight up said, I do not care no more what anyone thinks, because at the end of the day, it's not going to affect them.
Yeah,
and they don't have
exactly.
to understand, and they don't have to give me permission. You know what I mean? And for you to, have that moment at such a young age to do it, man, that's incredible. I almost find it courageous, I want to say. It's not like you kind of, you call it a pivotal moment, but man, I almost want to call it like a courageous moment too. You know what I mean? Because not a lot of people, have that moment at such a young age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and ever since that moment, I mean, I've done everything I've ever wanted to do, like whether it's like just like my look or my anything I wanted to wear, anything I wanted to say, anything I wanted to post, if I want to make YouTube videos, if I want to do this, if I want to do that, I just did it, There was always repercussions, there was always people who were going to say things, but like it didn't matter anymore, it still doesn't until today. Like I really don't care. Like I've lost friends, I've gained friends, I've done a lot of things through that, but it's all been positive.
It kind of might be a hard question, I would imagine, but what was there anything that kind of compelled you to just like drop in and be like, man, fuck these guys, you know what I mean? Like,
100%. I mean, it was just like constant negativity for anybody that like stepped outside the norm. And I mean, I literally just like was done with it at a certain point. I mean, even now I'm done with it. If like there's people who just like talk smack about anybody trying anything, like I'm not going to talk to you. It's just not worth my time. You know, like it's like that person's trying something different. That person's going to be a step ahead of you at the end of it, you know? Even some like old buddies of mine, like, like they were, they're just not cool with like that, like people trying things. And some like guys in my high school were like starting a business, and they were just like, oh, like, like just kind of bashing it. Like it wasn't going to be successful. It wasn't going to do anything like that. And it ended up being fine. They were doing like a concert, like throwing like events, like concerts and stuff and raves. And they threw a rave. Like they threw a successful company at a venue in Los Angeles, got like a DJ from like Europe, like all this crazy stuff, and like had full on like light shows and all this stuff. I'm like, that's badass. Like, that's so cool. Like, how are you going to bash that? Even if they were in like the like beginning stages of that, like how are you gonna like put them down? Like if they get to that point, like that is so cool. Like I wish I could say I did that, you know what I mean? Like so that was a moment for sure. Just like high school was a moment, but a lot of people's opinions on me and stuff changed, and a lot of people like even apologize and stuff like that just because I got to that level, you know. But I hate people who are gonna put you down before that, you know?
But I think it's important too. I think it's also important just to shift perspective that these people do apologize when they realize it, because you almost do them a service by proving them wrong. And then it kind of shifts their perspective and makes them think like, wow, like Marc Anthony did that thing. Yeah. Now maybe I could do something that I'm looking into, you know what I mean? And I think also too, what we're talking about, it takes some people, it just takes maturity, right? It takes some people do it late. Some people, it takes a long time. Some people get it early, but people who bash, who troll, who do all that stuff, and they just look from the outside. They hold a sense of insecurity. Like they're not comfortable putting themselves in that that uncomfortable situation. And it's funny because I just had this conversation with somebody. It's weird. You used to look at the most successful people and you'd have the utmost respect for him. Like, man, that guy is like, he's something else. Like, utmost respect. And yeah, that's true. We still do, right? But now I'm kind of in a space where I'm kind of like, you know what? This person right here, maybe an obese person trying to lose some weight, just starting. Or maybe that kid who started like 3 things, but he failed, but he keeps going. That's where my respect. Yeah. Right? Can you relate to that now?
I can relate to that huge. I mean, like anytime I see anything now, I try to kind of like, even if it's just on social media, I see somebody like posting something different or posting like a passion or doing something unique that they like, I'm always like, I always like comment on it. Even if I haven't talked to the person in years or something like that, I try to comment on it, like it, like show that appreciation for them, you know, stepping outside of the norm. And if it is like a weight loss, all that kind of stuff. Like even in high school, there were guys who were like trying to lose weight and stuff. And like I was like super into bodybuilding in high school. And I had like a fitness page and all this stuff and everything like that. And then like, you know, other guys like did it, and like I would hear people bash them and all this stuff, like, or guys who are bigger trying to lose weight. And I would always give support, you know, just like anybody trying to do anything. It's really worth it. But I think like just how stuff is today, it's like, it's so hard to, you know, it's so hard for you to do anything now because that judgment's automatically there. Like,
especially like you said with social media.
Yeah, it's automatically there. And I had a conversation with like one of my coworkers, Kevin, and just about like, you know, like showing like things that are actually like true to you online and like people's reaction. Like if I make a business post, like I'll get like you know, like 100 and something to 200 likes. But if I post a picture of like me and my friends like out, I'll get like 300, 400. You know, it's just like ridiculous. It's like people don't want to see like what's like the real me or like the real somebody else. Or like if I post like art, or if I were just to post a picture, like, you know, it's just that automatic judgment everyone's going to feel 24/7.
Yeah, no, the edge is definitely. It's almost like this might be like totally left field, but I'm kind of like if I'll post like something on food or something like, I don't know, just like out of the norm, like, but it's like no relevance to like, I don't know, like kind of like my future or like something inspiring. It's like skyrockets, right? But then when I post something that's kind of like it's really who I am and what I'm trying to do, I almost feel like it's overlooked, which is fine, but it's just weird how that is, right?
It's weird, and it sucks because you're always going to have that in the back of your head, you know? Even, like, if you're aware of it, it's still going to be like, shoot, like, you know, I want people to like what I'm doing. I want people to, like my posts, etc. So.
Well, it's not just that, too, but I also think, like, I keep telling everybody this. Like, everyone's kind of, like, social media is, like, it fosters, like, oh, like, for ego. Like, I'm looking for compliments. I'm looking for likes. I'm looking for the comments. Mm-hmm. But in my opinion, I'm kind of like, at the same time, don't know. Like, to get feedback, you know, that advice and, you know, whatever, it almost validates you and reassures you that you know, keep moving forward, keep pushing, keep pedaling to what you're trying to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just like, I don't know. It's interesting for sure. It's a lot harder. I definitely agree. And I could only imagine, like, being, you know, your age at the time, how much harder for sure it was. But so going back to your story, again, you're starting your clothing company. What else happened? Like, started transitioning. You started it, I mean, because you're doing a lot of different stuff now. So walk us through a little bit of where else your business ventures started to go to.
Yeah, so, I mean, I could say, like, the first, like, real company I had was, like, Innateware. That's, like, one we registered as an LLC, so legally it was real.
And it was just gym clothes,
lifestyle?
Yeah,
so it was, like, fitness, lifestyle clothing.
Okay.
I was always kind of into that. And so I like started off, like, I ordered 50 t-shirts, like my best friend, like, split the money with me, just like supporting me. And I ordered 50 kind of scoop tees, like the lifestyle kind of tees, something like I'm wearing today. And so in like the month that I ordered the shirts, like I had like 4 weeks until they came in, so I got everything ready. So it's like I found photographers at school, like people who were like into graphic designing, built out a website, got like photo shoot schedules and everything. So like the day that my shirts got here, I could just like go. Yeah, like I was pumped. So like first thing I did was give away around like 10 to 15 shirts to like people in my area who were like locally influential. Some of those people were like John, who I work with now, the CEO of Mile Blocks, his partner at the time, and then just like other people around the gym and stuff.
Yeah. People in the industry in that area.
That area. Yeah. So like it was like kind of that sense of like, let's start small. Let's like get Sam Mateo on board.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then it was just like, and like literally within the week, Chris Murphy, he was John's old partner. He was like, look, like, I like the shirt, I like the clothing, like I want to hear your ideas for like the company, and like I want to invest in the company. And this was like, like a couple days after I got the t-shirts, like it wasn't even live yet, like online, like my website hadn't even launched. And so I kind of went to like Formula, which is like one of the shops we work with today, and told them my whole rundown with like my friend who was like at the time my partner, and he was like, yeah, like I want to invest, like how much would it cost to do like 20 products?
Dude, first off, before you keep going, how did that feel, man? For someone to just recognize...
It was crazy.
To recognize your work and just like, hey, I want to invest.
Yeah, no, it was nuts. I went home, I was like... I cried, like, literally, like, because I was so, like, freaking out. Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know how much percentage to give. Like, I didn't know anything. I was just, like, so shocked by it. Like, I just, like, broke down for a second. I was like, what do I do? Like,
because there was still that uncertainty.
Yeah,
like, you're just launching, right?
Yeah, I didn't know what it was worth. I had no idea. So we went with that. I ended up doing, I think, like, 25% for, like, probably roughly around, like, 10 to, like, 15,000 or something like that, nice. Because we did like the Los Angeles, like it was like agreed we do the LA Fit Expo and like launch X amount of products, but so it was like, okay, like this is going to be real, like we're going to run with this. Yeah. So then I just started cranking, man, like just all night, every night. Like I was up till I don't know what time. My mind would just be going like crazy. Like I just couldn't stop. And at the time I was doing a bodybuilding competition too, so my mornings would be early. Like I'd wake up around like 5:36. My best friend would pick me up. We'd go do cardio, eat breakfast, go to school.
He just added that stress.
Yeah, oh yeah. And it was like just a huge like mental challenge for me because like all like the low carbs, all that kind of stuff, just like while with like the stress of like fluctuating and everything. Yeah, so my emotions were up and down, and then I was working with my friend, and that like started conflict and all this stuff, and just trying to get things done, and just like it was a lot. So it was a lot to be doing like my like senior year of high school. But the company was doing pretty well. We did the LA Fit Expo. That was very successful. It was growing. We moved to San Jose because I was going to attend San Jose State University. And so we moved down there. My brother moved. And then kind of like in the time all the innateware stuff was happening, like John, the CEO of MyBox, kind of was like watching everything I was doing. So it was like, you know, like the photos, like my brother was taking, like the business plans I had, kind of like how I was growing the company. And it was something that was never really, never had been done for MyBox before. So, you know, I think it was like 4 to 5 years MyBox was in business, and like there was no real like marketing plan or no real like social media plan.
So he definitely took notice.
Yeah, so I think he took notice there, and then like, I'd like go to his apartment. At the time he was rooming with Chris, so like I'd go there and we kind of like be like, okay, like what can I do for MyBox that like I'm doing for like Nate? And so I started like working into that, getting all that situated. And then we had like the formulas at the time, so we launched like the first Formula Nation website, the first like online supplement store, and like so I was just kind of all over the place, like trying to like grow like my brand while like trying to like grow these two brands, because like that's like, you know, where like I could get money, and then like I have my company, but it's like, you know, you're not taking profit
it like
from
served you, right? Because you're in the industry, you know, you guys could help each other, and it's like a mutual like thing. Yeah,
so that's around the time I started working for MyBox, and then so then it was like, okay, like MyBox, John decided like we're gonna get like a warehouse out in San Jose, like we're all gonna move to San Jose. So we moved, myself, John, my brother, and then like some of our athletes, even from MyBox, like all moved to San Jose. And this is around the time like I was starting school, and then I still had a Nate. And then when school hit, like
what was your degree or major?
International business.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I mean, it was just
man.
It was like it was the least competitive major I could get. I could get in pretty much. Like high school, my grades were not so hot. I just kind of. I don't even know how I really got by. I did the minimum work required, and then just, I went to a local state school, but that just like wasn't where my head was at all.
Yeah.
So went there, and then it was kind of like an interesting time for me. Like I told myself in my head, you're going to work, you're going to grow your company, you're going to work for like MyBox, going to do formula stuff, and that's it. Like you're not going to have a social life, you're not going to do all that kind of stuff. You're just that's all you're going to do. And then like I met some kids at school, and like it all kind of flipped for me. So like my priorities like went somewhere completely different. It was like social. So like I rushed to fraternity. I did all of that kind of stuff. I pledged a fraternity. I was like the president of my pledge class, all that stuff. And like at the same time, like the businesses like could scale. And like I did like a fashion show with like Live Fit, Weska, all that stuff. Like was doing all this stuff, and then like I just lost myself, you know, like kind of like
you're almost like your priorities. But this is part of you growing up too, you know.
100%. And like I don't regret that at all. You know, it was like part of my life I would have never been able to get back, and like I enjoyed myself so much. But yeah, so I mean, like MileBlocks was going. I was trying to balance the social life. I was trying to do business and everything, and it kind of just like fell off through that. I remember we were working on like trying to do some sort of partnership with Weska, but just like all these things, it was just kind of in the back of my head. But you know, it took me about probably a year to get back on track. And there was a lot of ups and downs with like the company and a lot of different stuff. So, but then like it was probably in like January, where like we were like back. Like everyone's head was on straight. I was like missing the feeling of like I had like an itching to like get involved in something, some sort of business. I was doing like kind of a little like media company with my brother at the time where he was taking photos. I was working on like social media growth and stuff, and we were taking on like little clients. And then John was like, yeah, like I want you guys to come back to the company, yada yada, all that kind of stuff. So, and then like the team just kind of formed again. It was kind of weird. Like we took this like,
it's like you guys disbanded and
yeah,
then
and
came
then
back
like,
together.
all right, we're gonna come back. Yeah, it was like we broke up, and then
that's so funny, man.
And then we were like, all right, we're gonna come back and we're gonna like kill this shit. So we came back. That's when like I started taking like I guess a bigger role in MileBlocks. Before like I was just kind of doing like some social media stuff and just kind of managing things, and then working on clothing because I was still doing like my like cut and sew stuff that I was doing with like Innate Wear. Yeah. So like everything I make is like from scratch. I pick the fabric combinations. I pick like everything, and then it's all done overseas. Yeah. So then I started taking on some like sales kind of stuff, some more like operations type of things, and then like we were doing pretty well in San Jose, and we got to the point where it was like, okay, like, you know, we need like a new setting. We need to move past here.
Because you're trying to scale, or just because you just want a new direction?
Because we were trying to scale. I mean, it's like, it was a little difficult to run like a supplement company, I guess, out of the Bay Area. Just like the people you want, like the industry's not as big there. So we thought like, you know, SoCal would be the move. Yeah, we went from like, it was a huge jump. It was from like a 2,000 square foot warehouse. Now we're in like a 12,000 square foot warehouse.
Which is the one I was at.
Yeah,
is the one dude, that place is huge, man.
Yeah, it's big.
I'm about to move my podcast studio over there, brother. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah, dude, we got plenty of space, man. There's 4 of us in that huge place, so which is crazy. But yeah, so it was a big jump. It was definitely a big jump for me too. I was like super involved at school, in terms of like friends, not necessarily school, but and just like friends, family, everything, just like leaving them and making that sacrifice to go out there. So it's something like I'm still dealing with now, but it's an incredible experience, like to be doing everything I'm doing now.
Yeah. How did it feel, man, well, first off, actually, let's go back real quick, because I get the sense that, because you kind of mentioned that, you know, you were just having an itch to do something, right? I get the sense that you're like me, where you need to be stimulated and you need to create. Otherwise, you just feel like shit. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? Yeah, and you may not be the best creator. You may be like a shitty designer or whatever it may be, but you just have an itch to like design something or think of a concept and build it from the ground up. You know, everything that you talked about, because it seemed like you were diving so many different things, right? You were doing your clothing brand, you got with MileBlocks, you were doing a little social media, this and that. Like, how did you like learn everything? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it strictly just like you just learn as you went type of thing? Or because I feel like, especially someone like you going to different things, you know what I mean? I know every now and then when someone gets into new like foreign territory, as far as knowledge, you know what I mean, like it could be very overwhelming, it could be intimidating, and sometimes it really hinders someone's like, you know, progression. I mean, how's someone like you kind of just, again, is this something like you just went as you learned and, you know, all that stuff? Or?
Yeah, I think, it's difficult. I mean, like...
You're probably just like, no, I'm just a talented motherfucker.
No. A lot of it was just like reading articles online, kind of that kind of stuff. And just, I guess, kind of like faking it until you make it, you know? Like a lot of things like I knew needed to be done, and then I'd have to figure out how to do them, you know? So it was like I could kind of get that, like, general idea in my head, like, well, we're not doing this, so like we need to do this, and then it's like, okay, well, how do I do that? I mean, it's still something I do today, like for MileBlocks or any of the companies that like we're working with, but yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of trial and error and just like reading and
words I was going to say, trial and
myself
error.
Yeah. So
I feel like, you know, again, we spoke about, because you said like you failed in a lot of different businesses too, right?
Yeah.
The whole trial and error thing trial and error has played such a huge role, right? In what you're doing now, especially because you were doing that at such a young age already.
Yeah.
So now it puts you in a position, in a mindset like, nah, man, I felt before. Like, all right, move on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I mean, like, even today, like, I don't know where I'm going to be in a couple years. I don't know if like, you know, I'm hoping all of this stuff I'm doing succeeds and, you know, creates my wildest dreams. But if it doesn't, you know, I'm going to pick up, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to figure it out. If everything were to go to shit tomorrow, I'd find a way, you know, I'd find a way to make rent, or find a way to do everything that I want to do, you know, and I'm not worried. And that's something that I think has kind of been with me for a while. And I always told people, my friends used to laugh at me like in high school and stuff because like I didn't have good grades, right? So like probably C's, maybe like a B or two. I don't even know what my GPA was. But you know, they'd be like, dude, like, you know, you got to try in school, you got to do this and that. And I was like, no, dude, like I have drive, like I'm going to get to where I want to be because I have that drive. And they'd be like, oh, like you got drive. Oh, like Mark's got drive. Like he's going to do fine. And I'm just like, no, like watch me, motherfuckers. Like I'm going to do fine. I have that drive and that's not going to stop, you know?
He's like, he has 6th gear. Like,
yeah. They used
cruise control or something.
Yeah, they loved that word when I would say it. And I was like, you know, it's true though. I mean, I'll find a way. So
it's like you have, I mean, we're talking about drive and your efforts and your passion and all that stuff. It's like like you have it. It's just it's in the different areas. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like focusing more in school. It's focusing on what you're passionate about and where you knew you know, again, where you're involved with. You know.
Yeah, and I liked school. I just wasn't, and it's not that I couldn't do school or I felt stupid or anything like that. I think a lot of times school tries to make you feel stupid. And I know teachers who did and people who did, but you know, that's not where my head ever was. Like I was building a website in class or managing like my like online orders or reading new ways to do this or listening to podcasts or that kind of stuff. And so, I mean,
did you drop out of school?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So I just did recently.
What did everyone think? Well, you kind of mentioned it with your friends. What about, I mean, your parents, family?
My parents, I mean, it took a while, I think, for like them to kind of accept it. It took, I think, my dad like coming to Huntington Beach and seeing the warehouse and kind of seeing everything where he's like,
seeing like, oh crap,
he's
real.
Yeah, before, you know, like, I mean, like I've had an okay relationship with my parents over the years. It's definitely something I want to work on getting stronger, but like when it comes to like business and stuff, I always like to be kind of on my own because I don't know why, just like I always wanted to do it on my own. Like I didn't really want like their help. Sometimes I needed it, but like, you know, if I didn't have to, I didn't have to.
You just have to be in your own person, so in the zone, right?
Exactly. So, you know, they don't really know everything I do. They don't know my job. So it's just like recently where I started opening up to them when I left school, where they're like, okay, like, you know, he's got something going. My mom, she struggles with it for sure. Just like in her mind, it's the same, like, you got to get a degree, all that kind of stuff. Like, that's what like every other kid's doing. That's what you should do. And it's like, every other kid's not doing the things I do right today or dealing with the problems I do. But, you know, it's something I think with time, like, you know, they'll adjust. They'll adjust, but they're definitely adjusting, which is nice.
Yeah. So. And they just, as parents, you know, of course, they just want what's best for you.
Yeah. My friends, very, very supportive. At least the friends like I've made in college. Those are definitely the guys I can call like my best friends, like my family. So, you know, they're like, they even told me, they're like, look, like, we knew since like we met you, like when you had everything going on, that like school wasn't for you and there's just those people and that's you know? And I was like, yeah, like, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Why do you think, I want to get your perspective because again, 19 years old, right?
Yeah.
19 years old, y'all, the 19-year-old phenom, man. I love it. Why do you think people in particular, maybe even like, how about this? Why do you think even people at a young age are afraid to fail? Because, again, we're talking about a lot of trial and error, lots of things that have played a huge role into your drive, into your work ethic now. Why do you think a lot of people just have that fear of, like, they don't want to fail? You know what I mean? Like, it's something they want to avoid. But in reality, as me and you know, having that mindset, you got to fail.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not like you invite it, but it's like if it comes, you embrace it, and then you flip the switch, and then you move forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's because of, like, the repercussions and the judgment you're going to get. I mean, like, when my clothing company, like, failed, it was like, a joke, you know? Like, it was just, like, something I had to hear for I don't know how much time even, like, you know, someone will revert back to it and be like, oh, like, you know, this company, or something like that. You know, you have to deal with that, and then like whatever loss I guess you're gonna get. But a lot of it, I think, is just the judgment of failing. You know, it's like it's tough. It's really hard to fail without hearing like it over and over again, or like just like everything's just so blasted, like I was saying, that like everyone sees you fail, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and you have to live with that. Like, everyone knows you failed.
Yeah. What's funny is when you bringing that up, it's funny is because a lot of you've heard that saying, right? A lot of people like to work in silence and let their, results like speak for itself. But at the same time, it's kind of like you can kind of see why people do that, because if they do fail, then no one knows and they don't have to deal with those repercussions. And that sucks.
No, it does.
Why does it have to be like that?
No. When I started Innateware, like, I didn't tell anyone for I don't know how long until like it launched. Like, I didn't tell any of my friends I was working on the company. I didn't tell them any of my ideas. I didn't want to hear it. I just was going to do it, and then that was going to be it. Once it launched. I wasn't going to take any of the crap. I wasn't going to, deal with any of that stuff. But like, yeah, I did. I literally worked in silence, and even the stuff going on within the company, like, I rarely said. I really rarely told people. I didn't even like to talk about it. Even my work with like Mailbox and stuff, like, I just kind of like, that was work. That was what I was doing. And like, it took like to like, even like with Mailbox, it took like me getting into this new warehouse and everything for everyone to be like, oh shit, like that's actually like a real company. Like, I'm sure there's kids who followed me that just thought it was just like another one of my things and wasn't like, like worldwide or anything like that. But yeah, it's just that. I don't know.
No, dude, when I stepped into that place, I was like, oh shit, this guy's the fucking real deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just meeting you for the first time. But, I almost feel like hearing your story also, you definitely built relationships pretty fast. Again, you had a couple buddies, you got the mentor. You were sourcing stuff from overseas, you said. What's kind of your take and feedback as far as for young entrepreneurs or people who are, trying to get ahead and kind of, your story? What's kind of your take on how to build relationships? Because it seems like you got involved, and then now look, you're working with, Myo Blocks, you're working with all the other people you're working with. And yeah. I feel like building relationships sometimes again, depending on the maturity level, sometimes, again, at least for me too, it could be pretty overwhelming, intimidating. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. I think just be aware of your surroundings and just being aware of like what everyone's doing. Even like the kids I reached out to, like, they weren't like my closest friends or anything like that, or even people liked and stuff. It was just like, I know that person has this craft and can provide me X, and I can provide them that. And just being aware of that. Also, take advantage of school, take advantage of things like that. Because like, I necessarily didn't focus on school, but I used the school system to network. I looked at our alumni at school, and like, that's how I found like the mentor. I looked at, the students around me, like what they were doing, like who was involved with what, who liked taking pictures, who did this, and I was just aware of my surroundings. And then, networking, like a business aspect, it is intimidating. Oh, I was scared to meet anybody crazy. I was scared to meet you. It's tough. Just try to, you just got to get through it. I consider myself pretty outgoing and social, so it's never really been a problem for me. But
would you say just be yourself?
Yeah, definitely just be yourself, for sure.
Yeah. I find it awesome, again, that you work with some amazing people. You guys seem like a family over there.
Yeah.
How cool is it just to work with some really cool people, like, your buddies, you know what I mean? And
it's
like,
awesome.
And also like any issues, like, you know what I mean? Like, how hard has it been to grow together?
Yeah, past companies, like my clothing company in Innateware, I worked with one of my best friends, and that was something that was super difficult for me, just because I think like our mindsets were different. I can go into work and I could always think of something to do, where like on the other side it was like somebody asking me, what do I need to do or what needs to be done, and I think in a business setting, that's something that you should never say or never just like think like, oh, like we're good, we're done for the day, like there's nothing to do, like there's always something
to do, right?
So
yeah,
doing that business, that for sure started conflicts, I think, in our relationship. So it just depends on the person. It's like people say don't do business with friends, but sometimes you can do business with friends. Like our company Mailbox, it's my brother, so we get into it sometimes just because we're brothers and everything, but it's awesome. And over the years been able to work with him. John's been someone who's like family, so it's been cool working with him too. I mean, we all have different personalities, and at times like we'll butt heads and everything. But you know, we respect each other, and it's cool having that closeness, because at the end of the day, like we do all care about each other, and we do like love each other, and you know, just like want what's best. So, and then we got Kevin, Cowboy Kev. I don't know if you've seen him. But,
Yeah.
You know,
I think he walked in. And I was like, guy. Oh man, my boy. yeah. Seems like a cool cat.
Yeah, you know, he's just himself, and you know, we support it. That's awesome.
It seems like you guys like just again like cool group of people, man, and you guys are all just striving to become better people, but also trying to take these companies into new heights and stuff.
Yeah, we have Mildbox. We're just coming out with a new company, Cake, which is like an energy drink, and like the whole company is welcome to Cake World. So can't say too much about that, but that's gonna be pretty cool. And then we have 2 nutrition shops in the Bay, and I was able to hire a lot of my friends for that, like back from college, which is like something that I'm very fortunate for, because you know, just guys who helped me through a lot of stuff that like I, you know, can give them that and work with them. And I think when you work with friends too, like I think there should always be like a level of respect, you know, where it's like,
of course,
I'm gonna get this, like obviously like it's like work, so it's different, but it's like I'm gonna do my best because I care for that person, you know, like I'm gonna prove them that like, you know, I deserve this, or that like, you know, it's for the better good of each other. So that's something that's cool about working with friends for sure.
How has it been a little difficult adjusting coming to Southern California? I'm sure like the culture's a little different from San Jose. I mean, was there any like speed bumps? I don't know, just kind of transitioning.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it's just like I'm out here kind of like, you know, I'm 19. I can't go out. I can't really like meet people. By
the way, when you turn 21, I want the invite, all right?
100%. Should be a good day. But yeah, so it's like, you know, it's a little tough for me for sure. Just like I work at like pretty much 9 to 5 all week with like the same 4 people I've known. So it's hard to like network and everything. But that's probably been the only struggle, just like, you know, missing the people back home. But other than that, weather's nice, city's beautiful. It's a lot cleaner than San Jose. But it's been good. Yeah, it's been good. Definitely a growing experience.
And you definitely, like you said, you left like family, for, you know, up north. And, you know, again, we both can agree that you're pretty young, and then you're basically almost like starting like fresh and brand new and starting a new family in Southern California. Do you feel like it's kind of hard? Like, you know, you kind of have that identity up north, and then you're trying to establish like maybe not a new one, but maybe expand your identity in Southern California. How hard is it, do you think, for someone like you to kind of, you know, still be who you are, but then kind of expand on who you are too?
Yeah, it's for sure difficult, you know. I was like that guy. Yeah, like you're saying, like I was that guy back north. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, right now I'm not really worried about like that. I mean, I'm just worried about just like kind of trying to put my head down and just like pound out this work, you know, and then like we can kind of worry about that a little later. But it's definitely something in the back of my head. Like when I got here, I was like, well, now what? Like, who am I? Like, what am I going to do? What message am I trying to put across, or what's like my purpose, you know, aside from work? So, I mean, I haven't necessarily thought of it yet. So it's something that's going to take me a little time, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's a bit of a struggle.
See, your homies were right about the overdrive, man. Just like, you know, you're just putting your head down and just working, man.
Yeah, trying to, yeah.
That's awesome, man. So I know you can't get into too much of the details, but where are you guys trying to take? Well, you know, we talked about Cake, Maya Blocks. Like, what's the ultimate goal? What are you guys trying to do? You guys just really trying to expand and take over? I don't know. Like, what's the huge
I think we're just
goal there.
MarcAnthonys, we're just a different brand, you know, and that's something we've been for years. You know, if you look at our labels, if you look at our ingredients,
I love the branding, dude, for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, John. Hats off to John, man. He's incredible with that. But you know, like we've always kind of been like, you know, more blocks, less industries, like a saying we have, just kind of getting away from that normal fitness industry type of feel, and just like creating a culture that's different and everyone, and like it's more lifestyle and everything like that. So I think like now we're kind of going into a phase of just getting more into lifestyle stuff, you know, just like every kind of person, like not just like the dude with a 6-pack and crazy arms and everything, but just like the average person, and how like we can better their lives. With Cake, that's gonna be a very fun company. I mean, like the
name itself is fun, brother.
yeah, it's very fun, but it's just like kind of celebrating life and celebrating who you are, and it's just kind of like the party kind of thing. So I mean, I can't share too much, but the branding on that's going to be very fun, very different, hopefully different than anyone's ever seen. So that's like a big focus. We're in like the early stages of just getting all of that together, getting manufacturing ready, and then we're gonna like just try to take off with that one. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And you still into clothing too?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll always be into clothing. I've been making some clothes for Malbox, so we just launched a new line, like MBLX, which is like a custom cut and sew line. And then I plan on coming out with something probably small batch for myself, just like to keep my head on right, you know, and be creating something. And yeah, that's just always been a hobby for sure.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. You know, I wanted to ask you something. I was actually, and I had to write it here in front of me. I was reading an article, and again, because you know your story is pretty compelling, right? We're talking about like again, you know, being at a young age, like you were kind of stuck and feeling pressured, like you didn't want to shoot your ideas out, but then also there's that flip side where, you know, taking that risk, and it's almost like when you're older, like the older people, like they don't, you know, they have that regret, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, in this article, it said one of the most common complaints of the people who bloom late and succeed in the later ages of their lives is that they didn't dare enough, right, to sell their ideas sooner, which was opposite of what you did. You just went for it for everything that you believed in, everything that you were interested to. But on the flip side, one of the most common excuses among like the youth is that they are not old enough to start their own business. Like they don't have the experience or, you know, to do that. But again, with going back to your story, and which is why I found that quote very interesting, is again that you just went for it. It's all like trial and error, and then you just again you had that pivotal moment again where you said, man, fuck what everyone thinks, and you just kept failing and failing and failing. And like I know for sure that's gonna play a huge role in the future, like 5-10 years from now, because you're just gonna keep going no matter what comes your way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like you could tell, like, you know, your upbringing, the mindset that you've been able to, you know, to build, like, it's going to play a huge part. And it's like who you are, man. So it's like, you know, I applaud you, man, for sure.
Thank you.
So what's as we're going to be wrapping it up here, what's your biggest takeaway? What's the message that you really want to let everybody know out there?
Just try young and try as many times as it takes, you know. I think, like I told you before, just like if I didn't start with the little companies or anything like that, I would have never gotten to the spot that I'm in. And just like, especially being young, you know, you have that like kind of backing in a sense. Like you're always gonna have school. You know, if you're fortunate enough, you're gonna have your parents. You're gonna have like, you know, that kind of support. So if you fail, it's not like the end of the world. You know, it may seem like the end of the world, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know, you got your whole life in front of you, and I think that's hard for people to think about. And you know, it's something that I've always been able to see, like the bigger picture, you know. It's like, oh, like everything's going to shit right now, like this company's failing or yada yada, whatever it is in life. And I've always been like, but it's okay, you know, like in a couple of months it's gonna blow over, a couple of weeks, years, whatever it takes, and then I'm gonna have another shot, and I'm gonna go for it. So just, you know, trial and error, trying everything, and just like trying to follow your passion, even if it's not like, you know, what everybody else thinks.
Yeah, if it's not the norm or if it's not accepted,
yeah.
Right? I think also I want to add to, I think just, you know, in addition, just to, instead of like judging and seeing from the outside, you should try encouraging and uplifting, right? And you'll be surprised on what it could do.
Oh, yeah. It could change somebody's complete mood and just help them go that extra mile, 100%, and just not feel out of place.
Yeah.
So.
And then if you start that early too, who knows, like, again, it could be the factor and the beginning stages of building your relationships, which is like what you've been able to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's awesome, man. So dude, I appreciate you coming on the Parables, man. Like I said, can't wait to party with y'all. Oh, but really, it's been pretty impressive. Again, meeting you guys and just the little things that I've seen. Again, I'm just like, I looked at the facility and I was just like, man, dude, these guys are serious. This is awesome, man. And I find it very, very impressive just to see everything that you've been able to do at your age, and then also everything that you're into. It's like you got your hands in little different things, and it's kind of it's almost as if like you're a very a versatile person. You know what I mean? So anyway. But yeah, for anyone out there that wants to reach out to you, looking for some wisdom, where can they find you to reach out to you?
Instagram's fine, just MarcAnthony Paz. That's my name. I mean, that's pretty much the only way. Email, I think my email's marc@milebox.com, marc@milebox.com. But yeah, reach out, whoever. I'm always down to meet people.
Oh, awesome, man. So guys, listen, if you guys find inspiration in this episode, please do us a favor. Please tag me and Mark and let us know what you think. Again, I don't do ads, not monetizing this bad boy. Really, it's just really about the inspiration and the wisdom that we could provide through our discussions. Mark, I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
This was his first podcast. How'd it go, man?
First one. It was cool. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I jumped around a little bit, but it was definitely a cool experience, and I'm thankful for you having me on here, man.
Dude,
That's
I'm
awesome.
glad that you reached out. It's funny this being your first podcast, because I hope it just any other podcast you're on, you're just like, man, that was whack. No, not to be. It's funny because when I went to I almost thinking like a concert. Like the best concert I went to was Watch the Throne. And after that, dude, every other concert's just like, nah, dude, it's not the same, man. So hopefully it's like that with this experience, man. But again, I appreciate you coming on the Parables. And the last thing you got to do is sign the infamous canvas, man. Only got legends signed the bad boy, man.
Oh, yeah.
So
Awesome.
I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
All right, Parables Podcast with Marc Anthony. We are out.